Hello, and welcome to the Jester podcast. I am your host, Brad Rickert, and with me as always is my co-host and good pal,
That's Patrick Torres.
That's right, we are 3 games deep in this finals, and last night was crazy. I guess we should just get to the basketball talk, unless, do you have any messages for our loyal 8 fans?
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate you.
I hope you're watching the finals. It's pretty, I thought it was going to be more boring. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's actually been highly competitive games all the way across. Last night was the biggest blowout I think I've seen in the playoffs in a while, and it was close until the last 4 minutes or so. You really thought that the Warriors were going to come back at a certain point. We saw Steph go off for 47 points and still lose, which is honestly one of the most gratifying things I could ever see. But you got to give it up to Chef Curry. He killed it. He is killing it. Just was not enough last night. So I guess the question is, how do you see these finals going? What's your analysis so far? Do you have any thoughts after watching the first 3 games of the series?
Well, also, side note, I think, how many points did he get?
He had 47 last night.
There's only 3 players ever who got over 46 points in the finals and still lost.
Including LeBron James last year in Game 1, the famous J.R. Smith game where they almost won, but he held the ball. And he had a 51 that game. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I kind of expected Steph to go off like that last night. I was kind of waiting for it, and it was like his moment to grab, the country's attention, kind of assert his dominance as a top player in the league, and show how much more experience and how much more clutch he is than everyone. I thought I got to give it up to him. He really did show up to play. He played a great game. He ran out of gas at the end, but it was all heart. And as much as I'm not a big Steph Curry fan, he did the damn thing last night, and he lost. Welcome to the world of LeBron James. I think he learned a valuable lesson, and that lesson is you want KD and you want KLAY Thompson on the floor with you no matter what.
I think they realized they're not going to be able to do it without them.
I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah, I mean, they were completely overmatched last night. And it's not that Steph's not good enough. It's not that, even Draymond had a good game, But this Toronto Raptors team, which is something that we haven't seen from any team that has really put up a fight against Golden State, is they have so much depth and athleticism across their fucking bench. They had so much contribution from the B players, the non-stars on the team, and it was crazy to see their experience and their veterans kind of pull through. You saw Danny Green have a career finals game. He had 6 threes last night, 18 points. Pau Gasol and Serge Ibaka had great center play from. Gasol had a great first half, and then Serge in that fourth quarter, I think he had 5 blocks in the fourth quarter alone or something like that. It was insane. And then, but to me, the guy who really was the main difference last night was Kyle Lowry. He played like an all-star, he looked like an all-star, and he did it on the road. So mad props to the Toronto Raptors. I originally picked the Raptors in 6. Feeling decent about that right now. Not feeling bad about that.
But they're almost too, they're almost, it's hard to say organic because there's no organic NBA team.
Right.
But they're not like a built super team.
Right, yeah, well, when you think about their roster, Kyle Lowry was drafted, Siakam's been brought up in the program. They had DeRozan, and they exchanged him for Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, which, I don't know if you saw the interview this week, but DeMar DeRozan kind of has been a little down in the dumps, a little sad about not being in Toronto right now in the finals, called himself the sacrificial lamb that they needed to get to the finals. And, I can kind of understand that, I guess, but if DeMar DeRozan is on the Raptors and Kawhi Leonard isn't, they're not even sniffing the finals right now. The Bucks would have ran over them. The 76ers would have ran over them. And I think Kawhi is just the best player in this series. And even if you get Kevin Durant back, I still kind of think Kawhi Leonard's better than Kevin Durant at this point.
Yeah, he's just
the defensive end, right? KD's a better scorer.
More energy, I kind of feel like, too.
Yeah, he's a little bit younger. He's a little bit stronger. He's a little shorter, but...
Durant kind of feels like that old guy in a basketball. You ever go to a gym, there's like an old skinny guy who's just really good,
just nailing shots, yeah.
Just super fundamentals.
Right.
Yeah, he's not really wasting energy.
KD is so skilled. There's rumors that he might be back for Game 4.
KLAY seems more important.
Interesting. So you think KLAY is a more important player to bring back than KD at this point?
There's something about like the chemistry that goes weird
Between Steph and KLAY, yeah.
Yeah, because they're like, and then they're number 1 and number 2 3-point scorers. Like,
yeah, absolutely, and they definitely needed that other shooter last night, and they, KLAY would have been so helpful. The question is, when he has, what is it, an ankle injury, or it's a bruise, right? Like a calf bruise, I believe.
I mean, I think he could. They said he could come back.
Right, but if he comes back, how much of a liability is he going to be injured? We're really going to see how much these injuries are going to bother these players, and how effective they're going to be. Are we getting an 80% KLAY? Are we getting a 70% KLAY? Are we getting a 90% KLAY? I think it's going to make a big difference because the Raptors are good and they're athletic.
Well, Golden State, for me, I feel like they're not, like, you can't count them out yet because they have, like, 2 shots. So I feel like their 2 shots is KLAY comes back and they have a good chance with KLAY and Curry's, or KD's fine. And I kind of feel like KD might be fine because he keeps coming to, the games and stuff and he's energetic. Right. I feel like if he was completely down and out, he'd be bitter and, like, sitting in the stands. But he's trying to. I feel like he's trying to not lose.
He's maintaining his presence in the series and trying to stay mentally active. I would say I agree with that. It looks like he's trying to come back and ramp up.
We don't know all the information he knows.
Right.
So I'm guessing from that kind of attitude he has, where he's trying to like stay in it. The doctors told him we don't want you to do this first half, and you could probably do the second half. And so
of the series.
Yeah. So he's trying to because he hasn't played for almost a month.
It's been about exactly a month now. So it's at that 4-week point where he should be about ready. Because we're not the low end. Yeah,
we're not NBA caliber basketball players. But when you stop playing for a month or a couple months, when you come back, like your shot's super over or super under.
Well, not even the shot, but think about it. He had a leg injury, so he hasn't been able to get his cardio. He's going to be losing some of that endurance that's required to run up and down a court for a full basketball game. But you saw that from DeMarcus Cousins, obviously too. Like he looked bad last night. DeMarcus Cousins looked injured and he looked slow and he looked out of sync.
Yeah, they're talking about it. It sucks for Cousins. I mean, nothing sucks for them really.
It's so hard being a millionaire on the Golden State
Warriors. But it sucks for them on the spectrum of DeMarcus Cousins played crappiest in the most important game he's ever played. Like yesterday was the highest level he's ever played at.
I would disagree because I think the most important game he's ever played was Game 2. You think about it this way: if Toronto goes up 2-0, then goes to the Golden State with an injured KLAY and no KD, they could have gone down 3-0 last night.
Oh, you mean like value-wise? Yeah.
I mean, I thought Cousins stepped up in Game 2. I just thought his body wasn't ready to recover and make that quick of a turnaround.
I kind of just meant levels. Like, this is the furthest he's ever gotten. Like,
they
needed that win.
Yeah. I disagree. I don't think the Warriors needed that win last night. I think they needed that Game 2 win. And I think they need this Game 4 win. I don't think there's any question they need Game 4. Because if they can get a Game 4 and they're 2-2, then they have a best 2 out of 3 series at that point. There are 2 games in Toronto at that point, but if you're in a best 2 out of 3 series to win the NBA championship and you get KLAY and KD back, you can't be mad about those odds. But without a doubt, this will be the most interesting NBA Finals and the most highly contested. I don't know, the most competitive. Like we're seeing one of the best finals that the Warriors have ever been a part of outside of the 7-game series they lost to the Cavs. So we're really gonna get to check in and see where this gut is for the Warriors and see what they're made of, I suppose.
So it's Thursday.
Yeah, we're recording on a Thursday.
The day
we'll
before
have this out tonight.
Game 4, right?
Right. Yeah, we might be releasing this tomorrow before the game. It might be tonight, but yeah, we're talking before Game 4 at this point.
So I think that if Toronto wins tomorrow, Friday, Game 4, that's it. I feel like Toronto's going to win.
Yeah, if they go up 3-1 and then they have 2 opportunities to win on their home court, I think it's in the bag.
Yeah, it's in the bag. It'll be done. And then everyone's pretty healthy on Toronto.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard looked really good last night. He had some hops. It looked like he wasn't limping as much. Again, I gotta say, Marc Gasol has been just such a great addition to this team, too. Another mid-season pickup that no one saw coming. And I think the real difference between this Raptors team and a lot of other teams that have been very good that are contesting for championships is they're their role players are such a perfect mix of veterans that have been there before and performed on high levels for a long time, and new players that are up and coming and making their mark. I mean, Gasol and Lowry and Danny Green are such a great veteran presence, and then you got guys like Siakam and Fred VanVleet and even Powell to an extent that are these up and coming players that are really making huge contributions. And I don't know, the Raptors to me, out of everyone that I could like make a comparison to, they remind me of the 2011 Dallas Mavericks. And here's why: because you have the best player. You're building around your best player, right? So Dirk, Kawhi Leonard, just these transcendent, under the radar, great players. But your team is surrounded by these veterans that haven't really had the opportunity to get there. You know, this is Gasol's chance for a championship. You know, this is Danny Green's chance to continue to like be his generation's Robert Horry or something like that, or Steve Kerr, that's like a great shooter on multiple championship teams. Kyle Lowry's making his first chance to really go for it. And if Kawhi leaves after the season, Kyle Lowry may never sniff the NBA Finals again. It reminds me of Jason Kidd and Tyson Chandler and all these guys on the Mavericks at that time that really had the opportunity to perform on this huge stage, and all they had to do was accept their role and play their ass off.
I heard someone say that Kawhi Leonard like looking at real estate in Toronto. So
yeah, I did hear that too.
Yeah.
I will say this. I could see Kawhi Leonard staying if they win a championship, but I still think it's more likely that he leaves. And just because you're a millionaire buying real estate in the place you're currently living, I don't think that means you're planning on staying there. Because think about it, any city you would go to, you would buy a house there if you had the money.
That's
so
true.
You could turn it over and make more money, right? It's a great investment, but I don't know. You think he's going to stay?
I mean, it's hard. You never know because the championship changes everything.
Right.
But, man, even the championship itself, it would be like, just for my personal taste, I mean, there's probably some crazy archived championship I'm not thinking of, but, man, it would be up there with how much I respect LeBron's one Cleveland ring.
Yeah.
Like, that would be this caliber.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're beating the Warriors, and they're taking down the dynasty at this point. Rumors have been swirling, obviously, for a long time about what Kevin Durant's doing after this season. Now, I mean, I don't even like using his name in general to give him credit, especially on something that I'm recording and putting out. But Stephen A. Smith is saying that if the Warriors lose, KD is considering staying with the Warriors at that point, because that makes him the reason they're winning all these championships, right? So it's interesting to think if the Raptors pull this one off, which I don't think a lot of mainstream fans were expecting. We're talking about the opportunity for this big free agency this summer, but if the Raptors win, we might see Kawhi stay in Toronto and KD stay in Golden State, and then it frees up all these different scenarios where it's not the same, you know, because right now we're expecting KD to move to New York and Kawhi to go to LA, but if the Raptors pull off this upset, that could really shake up the NBA in a very different way.
And it'd be good for the NBA.
I mean, I think it'd be good for the NBA to see KD leave. I don't know if Kawhi needs to leave for the NBA to be where it's at. I think Kawhi going to Toronto is a big part of the balancing out of the league, not to mention the Warriors getting a little bit older and not having perfect health for the first time. But God, LeBron's got to be fucking kicking himself for not being in the East right now. If he was in Philly, he'd be getting his 4th championship right now if he would have signed with them.
Yeah, I heard Kevin Durant is going to work at a Wendy's.
Yeah, Kevin Durant needs to work in Wendy's.
He's going to work at a Wendy's in Alsip, Illinois.
Ooh.
Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana needs a basketball team. Kevin Durant can go there.
They used to have a basketball
team.
Did they? Yeah, they were in the CBA, the Continental Basketball Association. They were called the Gary Steelheads.
Your basketball knowledge always impresses me.
Well, I was from right outside of Gary, and I used to grow up going to Gary Steelheads games in this like minor league basketball, more or less.
Like semi-pro?
Yeah, I did get to shoot a half-court shot once there.
Did you make it?
No, but I did, like, I will say I was young, I was like 8 or 9 or something like that, and I did hit backboard that hit the rim. So pretty good, you know, I was pretty okay with that, but, you know, the glory days are over.
I mean, I tried hitting a backcourt shot at the gym. It's pretty fucking hard.
Oh, like a half-court? Or?
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
I said backcourt.
Yeah.
I meant back, like, in the backcourt.
Yeah.
But, like, it's pretty hard. Like, it's just not because it's hard getting the distance, your arm's just not calibrated.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I could just sling it over all day, but it's just like it's hard to aim that far away.
Right. Yeah, it's not something that people practice very much.
I mean, you know what's weird? That's why Steph's so good because he does practice that.
Yeah, I was actually watching his warm up yesterday, and I was just like, oh fuck, this guy is like, he was balancing on one leg, his left leg, and shooting threes, balancing on his right leg and shooting threes. He's obviously well known for how crazy his warm ups are. But he looked ready yesterday when I was watching his warm-ups, and I was like, oh, he's going off. And I mean, it made sense because everyone was injured. He showed up to play. He was shooting really well in the first half, and then in the second half he had to take a bunch of shots that, you know, were just necessary to try to keep him in the game, and his shooting percentage went down a bit. But I really do got to say, I was impressed with Steph yesterday. And I think we all know that he's a world-class player, and he is a decent guy. And on the last episode, I talked a lot of shit about Steph Curry. You always talk a lot of shit about Steph Curry's wife.
Fucking no dolls.
But, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. And Steph showed up to play. And if the Warriors somehow pull this out, I think there's no question that he's the MVP. But how bad would it suck if KD came back and got on 3 straight wins and then he wins the MVP for playing half the series?
I thought of a good compliment for Steph Curry.
Like another player?
No, for Steph Curry. Okay.
Oh, something just nice you want to say
about him?
Oh, okay, guys, everybody pay attention. Right here, Matthew Patrick Torres is going to say something nice about Stephen Curry.
Here we go. He's the best pound for pound basketball player of all time.
False.
Who's another little guy who's as good as
Allen Iverson.
I mean, I guess.
Chris Paul.
I mean, they're close, but I think Steph Curry's better than both of them.
John Stockton.
Oh, now I know you're fucking with me.
John Stockton's the all-time assist leader.
You think John Stockton's better than Steph Curry?
No.
No. Steph Curry is like...
you said pound for pound. Stockton was littler.
Yeah, but I'm saying pound. Oh, I mean, then the ratio of pounds.
Let's look up their weights.
Because
I forgot John Stockton had a really heavy dick.
Steph Curry's probably like your size. Steph Curry's small.
No, he's a little taller. He's like 6'3".
Really?
Yeah, he's listed as 6'3".
Yeah, but they probably
like 6'2", 6'1".
I mean,
I'm like 5'11", 6 foot or something like that. But
you're like 6 foot. But I'm saying you're like, he's a normal guy.
Yeah, he is normal sized. I think that's why so many kids look up to him, right? Because they're like, oh, that's something we can relate to, a little guy, so we can build these skills to dribble and shoot. And I think it's been great for the game. Again, I don't think he's an all-time great player because he hasn't been in these situations enough to pull off incredible feats on his own.
But you agree?
And he doesn't play on the defensive end.
But do you agree with my ridiculous statement?
No, I don't.
He's not the pound for pound best little guy?
That's not what you said. You said pound for pound best.
But pound for pound, so you got to like in ratio to it.
Yeah, I think Allen Iverson's better. Yeah. I think
the only reason I'll give you that is because
Allen Iverson is listed at 160 pounds.
Oh no, I wasn't thinking the pounds.
You said pound for pound.
I mean, but they're in the same category. They're both
like just little guys or whatever. I mean, Steph Curry's great. He's the top 20 player, and he might be the smallest guy in that top 20 player.
Yeah, that's kind of.
But
that's kind of where I took pound for pound.
I think pound for pound still Jordan's better. You know what I mean? Like Jordan's only 3 or 4 inches bigger. You know, I don't know. Kobe's only 3 or 4 inches bigger, and those guys are fucking defensive players too. You know.
But those 3 or 4 inches make a difference.
Tell me about it. Wieners.
Yeah, we had to talk about our wieners at least.
It's a comedian thing. What you gonna do? But yeah, having said that, I mean, I don't know. Do you have how do you see the rest of the series playing out? We're up 2-1 as a Raptors fan currently. Do you see them winning it? Do you see the Warriors coming back? Look into the Torres crystal ball and tell me what you see.
So it's always so much easier to pick it afterwards. So like I know you guys will come down
after you see him play a little bit.
I mean I mean like afterwards, like this is all gonna be over like in 2 weeks, and now everyone's gonna be like, you guys are wrong.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
that's part of it.
But in the moment,
so far I've been right.
Yeah. In the moment, how it feels now, I feel like it's gonna be Golden State's gonna get one more win, but Toronto's gonna win everything.
Oh, so Raptors in 6.
Yeah.
Nice. That's what I said from the beginning.
Yeah, but I needed to get a lot closer.
What was your pick? Did you pick Warriors?
Yeah, I thought the Warriors were going to run through them, but also...
Did you say Warriors in 5 or 6 or something like that?
But also...
you thought Clay was going to be playing the whole
time? I thought
time?
everyone was going to be playing.
Yeah, I mean, it could be argued if Clay plays last night, they get the win. But I think a lot of those shots that Clay got, Steph got last night, and he was hitting them.
Yeah, but there's...
But I hear you, yeah. And Clay takes pressure off.
That's
he
what
plays
makes
defense.
basketball so fickle because that's like just like I said, it's easy to say now, but like
There's
Kawhi
no-
Leonard could like sprain his wrist or
And
something.
it's over.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without him, they're nothing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And yeah, that's a good point. There's only 5 players on the floor, so one person is 1/10 of the game.
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference if they're a dominant player.
He's the most valuable player because Golden State has so much fucking talent.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they have so many people, like stars hurt, and they still have more stars.
Yeah, that's right. You sent me a graphic. Actually, why don't you pull it up and just show the camera? It was the funny thing we saw online. The poor Warriors without Clay and KD, they only have 4 former All-Stars on their team.
Here, let me see. I'll get you guys.
Tell the listeners what you're showing.
So if you got like a little look-see at that, it's so even without Durant and Clay, they still have 4 All-Stars, and 2 of them are MVPs. They have
Iggy and they have Steph Curry, who Iggy's won a Finals MVP. Steph Curry's won multiple regular season MVPs.
Draymond Green has.
Draymond Green's a perennial All-Star Defensive Player of the Year. What is that, twice Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah. The only thing I would disagree if you guys saw that list real quick is Draymond Green's kind of like a.
Well, no, I actually disagree. I would say Draymond's been the only one playing like an all-star out of those guys.
But I'm saying I do find the meme funny that they still have all these all-star caliber things, but he's like part of the group, like the original band of the Beatles.
Yeah, you're a big fan of people coming up through the system, and
yeah,
you're a big
nice.
fan of homegrown talent, which I think a lot of people agree with that.
Yeah,
I for one am a big fan of movement and the player liberation that's going on right now, where players can go wherever. And I don't know. I think as a owner or a general manager or whatever, it's your job to bring in those players. So I can't be mad at the Warriors for signing KD and signing Boogie Cousins. But I do think a lot of America shares the general consensus that they like when the players are coming up through the system. And you got to give your hats off to the Warriors because they built that team. They built Steph Curry, they built Klay Thompson, they built Draymond Green, and they brought them up through their system and turned them into world-class players.
What I think is going to happen, and what I want to happen, is I think this year Toronto's going to win, and it's just this next year season is going to be completely different.
And then KD goes to Toronto.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean,
he's like, I love Canada.
He has a track record.
Yeah.
I mean, but then he would immediately make Toronto the bad guys.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. He can't go to Toronto. They don't have the money.
The money?
He wouldn't do it. But yeah,
I don't know. Durant's pretty dick sucking. Like he'll probably go there for free. I'll do my Wendy's job during the day.
Jesus.
I'll play basketball at night.
All right, so you got the Raptors in 6 now.
Yeah, I like how it took all the way to the cusp of it almost happening for me to have the same prediction that you've had this whole time.
Yeah, I think. Why fuck with what's working? I'm gonna stick with Raptors in 6 too. I do think that means that the Warriors get the next game though. I think the Warriors are gonna tie the series 2-2, and then the Raptors are gonna pull off 2 wins in a row. They're gonna win at home in Toronto in Game 5, and then they're gonna win on the road in Golden State on Game 6. So both of our predictions have Toronto winning it in Golden State.
Yeah, but the only other thing that's crazy is because it's easy for people, even like in the opposite spectrum, in this moment, it's easy to feel like Toronto's going to win. Golden State can still easily bounce back.
They can win
in
6 games, Golden State. They could just win all the next 3 games.
Yeah, Steph Curry, I mean, he needs help, but Steph Curry's still a beast.
But I do think that we're looking at a very, very tough road for Golden State at this point, because think about it this way, right? They have to win the rest of their games. They have to win 3 in a row. And if they don't win 3 in a row, they have to win a Game 7 in Toronto. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I don't care who's on that team. Toronto, I think the fans and that environment in Game 1 and how fucking turnt they were and have been was a huge factor in that first win for Toronto. I think Golden State has not been in that environment. They're not used to being in that environment. And in a Game 1, the Raptors just showed up and took it. Golden State did the thing, and they came and stole Game 2. More power to them. But to me, injuries included, Toronto looks like the better team.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see.
I'm happy. I'm satisfied.
Yeah, definitely. Fuck the Warriors. We might be doing it. They might be losing. Thank fucking God.
But then who's going to be the bad guy? That's what I'm thinking. Golden State's going to be dismantled. LeBron will probably go back to being the bad guy.
Is that how you view it? Championship teams have to be bad so they can get taken
No,
out?
I think overstacked teams start to look bad. So then, because Golden State was like the Golden Boys the first time they won. So I feel like if LeBron gets a player that's really good, and then Golden State dismantles, people will be like, "Oh, look at LeBron trying to buy another championship in that Golden State."
I mean, if you look at the history of the NBA, there are very few teams that have not won, or that have won a championship without multiple great players.
I'm saying just because people don't like the way they acquire them.
I mean, the Bulls picked up Dennis Rodman by free agency.
Yeah, and he was already the best defensive player in the league.
What you gonna do, man?
I don't know why Jordan gets this weird pass with everything, right?
Wasn't around during social media.
Yeah, got his dad killed, fucking gambled, he beat his wife, he cheated on his wife, got a new wife. Imagine if Steph Curry or LeBron did any of those things.
They're both model fucking citizens.
Yeah.
Steph Curry and LeBron are probably the two nicest, most humble superstars they are so fucking famous, they're so fucking powerful, and they're still pretty kind dudes, it would seem like.
They couldn't take any
moral character.
wrong steps.
Right.
Yeah, imagine LeBron James having a baby out of wedlock.
Imagine LeBron James knocking up a porn star like Drake did. That would be a pretty big story, right?
I mean,
LeBron's the most hated man in America a few years ago, back in the Heat days, and he was literally a model dude.
Yeah, paying for thousands of kids to go to college. And
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's the media is a fucking trip, man.
It is weird. There's a lot of people like that. Jay-Z too. Nobody really is blowing Jay-Z, but man, Jay-Z's getting people out of prison, stuff like that. Tons of people, defense rap attorneys, Kim Kardashian. And LeBron James is probably, I would say, even more of a philanthropist.
I think LeBron's kind of been a big influence on those guys. I mean, LeBron is the first generation of socially conscious, intelligent, well-rounded, do the right thing type of player. His game kind of speaks to his moral character too, because he always makes the right play. He shoots a better percentage and gets more assists than Jordan because he's not a selfish asshole that needs all the glory.
Yeah, it's weird that we don't give LeBron
I certainly do. I love LeBron.
But most people don't.
I love Jordan and I love LeBron. They're very different, and they're a progression. I think it's like the evolution chart. Jordan was this alpha male. I gotta get everything. I'm gonna go hunt. I'm gonna get it.
Punch Steve Kerr.
And then LeBron's like a diplomat, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. If you went to your average Joe Schmo who kind of half follows basketball, a lot of people just LeBron's a piece of shit. I'm like, man, he's a better person than anyone you know.
Because he flops and whatever.
Because he's trying to win basketball games.
Yeah, God for fucking bid. Yeah. God for fucking bid.
What about all those kids he sent to college?
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
It wasn't even a good school. It was in Ohio.
Those Jordan memes. Fuck them kids. You ever seen those?
Yeah, with the shoes and all. Yeah, right. Yep. We've been talking about Toronto for a bit. I do want to make a transition out of the finals. We got a couple non-final stories we can cover before we end the episode. But speaking of Toronto, Toronto's legend, the greatest player to ever come out of the Toronto Raptors. We're talking about, of course, Vince Carter, the Vinceness, his Airness himself. He's coming back for his 22nd NBA season. He will be the oldest player in the league again. And I do believe he said it's going to be his final season as well. So shout out to Vince. We're excited to see you play at 42, 43 years old. I think it's fucking amazing. I wish there were more players that played to that age and kept their body in shape, because he is like a living basketball museum to an extent.
How old is he?
I think he's 41 or 42 right now.
He looks great.
Yeah, and he can still 360 dunk. He's still got a little bit of a vertical. He definitely doesn't look like fucking Dirk or anything out there. He doesn't look like he's falling apart.
Oh yeah, he doesn't look like Dirk.
No, Dirk looked rough the last year or two.
I mean, and that's just in the basketball world. If we saw him in real life, he looks like he's our age. He's
Oh, Vince Carter?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
He looks great. I mean, he looks better.
He's gonna have a great life no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's gonna have 40 years of just riding his fame.
Probably be on TV, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would do. That's an interesting question. If you were a lifelong basketball player and you got to retire after a great career, And say you didn't have the option to go be like the super mogul, but you had the option to either try to join a coaching staff or join TV, being on media. Do you have one way or the other that you would go? Would you rather be a big TV name like Charles Barkley, or would you rather turn into like a great coach like Steve Kerr?
I feel like if I could like relate it to my life, I'd probably coach.
Really? I would kind of expect the opposite because you're a performer, entertainer.
I mean, well then that's me. I would do that. But
yeah.
I mean, if I was him, if I already like learned a craft, like wouldn't you like
learn the inside out?
Yeah, when you want to get a championship team in, be part of the coaching staff. That'd be
win a championship in the regular, or as a player, win a championship as a coach. That'd be pretty sick. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think I could go either way. Honestly, I could see both paths being fulfilling. Awesome. Yeah.
The TV part of it. I mean, me and you don't know about. You've never been in either of those situations, but I feel like it has to be easier.
Oh, for sure.
You just show up, you're just Shaq, and you're just like, hey guys, I see hot.
Yeah.
I see hot.
Tough actor tonight.
I see the relaxer playing hot to relieve it.
Call the general.
There's not a commercial Shaq says no, dude.
Yeah, that's really true. Shaq gets his fucking money.
Shazam!
Shaq gets his money, dude. Okay. Next question. There's been a lot of random rumors going around about KD's future, about Kyrie's future. A lot of people view them and then Kawhi Leonard as well as being the main free agents that once they move, the rest of the chips will fall. And the biggest rumor right now is that Kyrie is planning on going to the Nets as opposed to the Knicks, as previously thought with KD. So this is kind of going to affect things a little bit. And as someone who has been to New York a few times, and I know you go fairly often,
yes, I do.
I would ask you, which New York team would you rather play for? The New York Knicks and play in Madison Square Garden, or would you rather play for the Brooklyn Nets and play at Barclays?
So, there's two different answers I have. So, I mean, I'm a jerk. I'm going to have to pick both in a weird way. But if I'm basketball oriented and I want to win games, Nets.
Okay.
But the Knicks, that's like playing for the Lakers or something. Like that's a dynasty type.
Right.
Madison Square Garden itself. Have you ever been in New York?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden is just like memorized.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful performance place.
Yeah.
I think Barclays is pretty cool too. I've been inside of both of them.
Yeah. I went to a Barclays game in Brooklyn with the Bulls, and
oh, cool.
We lost. Yeah. We lost by like 1 or 2 points.
Was this one the Nets were good, or did they suck?
I mean, no, they sucked.
They sucked. So it was like just the shittiest game you could have possibly went to.
It was two sucky teams, and I imagined, I'm like, man, if there's any time the Bulls can win, because I think
this is the time.
The Nets and Bulls were both like, I think, fighting for like almost last.
Yeah.
When I went to the game, so I thought, like, man, I could get to see a Bulls win in Brooklyn, but I was wrong. No, we lost. But their stadium's cool. Like they have like TVs and outside, and it's all weird.
Very modern.
I like their train goes straight into the.
Oh, into the actual arena. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Whoever thought of that.
Yep. I don't know. I think I would rather play in Brooklyn and for the Nets. I think the Nets are a better team. I think James Dolan has proved himself to be a dumb owner. And out of all. I mean, it would be cool to bring the glory back to the Knicks, but the Knicks haven't won that many championships. The glory of the Knicks is the fact that Madison Square Garden has been this hub of basketball and entertainment for years. And the majority of classic New York performances have not been by New York players. They've been by road players coming in and fucking them up, like Jordan, Reggie Miller. I mean, what are we celebrating in New York? The time Carmelo Anthony scored 45 points and you guys got a loss? Like, what the fuck are we celebrating? I don't view the Knicks as a legacy franchise. I mean, they've been around forever, but they're not the Celtics, they're not the Lakers, they're not even the Bulls. I would rather go to Brooklyn, hang out with my cool cats, get some fucking froyo, chill on it, and have a good time. Because
gentrify a neighborhood.
Yeah, let's go gentrify Brooklyn with the New York Nets. Starting point guard, 5'11", chubby white guy
from New Jersey.
Oh, sorry, I dropped some shit.
You just angered the basketball gods.
I dropped this little piggy bank. I'm sorry.
Is that a basketball piggy bank?
No, it's Indiana Hoosiers piggy bank. My alma mater.
Yuck.
Yeah, sorry. From Indiana, what you gonna do about it? Indiana's a great basketball state, though. Big on meth, big on hoops.
And corn.
Corn, meth, and hoops, Indiana. It's what we do.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know. It's fun though. Okay, so speaking of mess and stupid shit and just being general assholes, it is that time of the program for Matthew Patrick Torres' backcourt violation.
Let me see what
slurp.
today is about.
Came through triple.
Did you hear about Paul Pierce?
Oh my god, this fucking guy, Paul Pierce in his fucking wheelchair.
I mean, I actually thought the opposite. I thought it wasn't true.
You thought what wasn't true? His
Would you like to tell the story?
Sure. So yesterday, as of when we're recording this Wednesday, so we're recording this on a Thursday. Yesterday was the, I believe, 11-year anniversary of when Paul Pierce came out of the game with an injury, got carried off, got wheeled off in a wheelchair to the locker room, and then I think it was about a quarter later, he came running out of the tunnel to come back and win Game 1 of the 2008 NBA Finals. Now, for years, people have made fun of Paul Pierce, saying that he's a crybaby, that he's a faker, that the truth is full of shit. And then yesterday, on air, he admits that
he pooped his pants, right?
I don't know if he full-blown admitted that he shit his pants, but he said that it was a bathroom-related thing, so maybe he had to go to the bathroom, or maybe he shit his pants.
I think it might have to be poop, because pee wouldn't be like that.
Because you just sweat, you just keep moving, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking... Do you really think Paul Pierce shit his pants in a game?
There's two things going on that I thought immediately.
I would shit my pants if I was playing.
Either he really doesn't give a shit, and he just tells people. Literally.
Yeah.
Or oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was the point. My bad.
Or he really doesn't give a shit. Or I mean, because he keeps like making like all these bad calls and turning all these people against him. He just likes any kind of attention. So it's either one of those two things.
And it's working.
Yeah, and like we're talking about him right now, I guess.
I don't know if he said that now because the internet has just made it very clear that everything he says is stupid and he's kind of a big joke, so maybe he's like trying to own up to it. But I don't even know if that's true. I don't know if I buy it.
Yeah, I think he might be lying just because...
Why wouldn't you just run the fuck out? Apparently Boston says they needed a stoppage in time and that he faked it so they could catch their breath and get their shit together, but he was out for a little bit of the game, so I don't really know. Either way, I think it's a pussy move and I don't like it.
Yeah, I think that he kind of like, he's getting to the point where it's starting to be a pattern where I think he'll say anything.
Right.
To get attention.
Also, I'm starting to realize that NBA legends respect Paul Pierce's game, but on the pantheon of champions, like when you look at all the great NBA championships that led teams to the finals, well, not only is he on the low end having only won one and being, I mean, he's a superstar and a Hall of Famer, but he is the biggest fucking joke out of all of them. You know what I mean? Think about everyone that's like led teams. We're talking Kobe, we're talking Michael, we're talking Shaq, we're talking Tim Duncan, we're talking Dirk, we're talking...
Yeah.
I mean, Paul Pierce, compared to those guys...
Nobody, even like...
is a fucking joke.
His peers, like Charles Barkley and all those people,
yeah,
they wouldn't talk trash about like Kobe and stuff like that and being
right.
it. But I mean, they'll throw Paul Pierce on.
I mean, honestly, one of the main champions from his time period that maybe kind of comes close to even lining up with him is Dwayne Wade, and he already fucked that up because he tried to say he had a better career than Dwayne Wade, which he did not. So
not even close.
Like he's trying to, I don't know, validate his own career after the fact. It's over. You're just making yourself look like a dumb 40-something-year-old guy.
Even if he was the most eloquent guy in the world, he could never talk his way into being...
better than Wade, no. Yeah. But he should just be happy with his place, and that is a seat at that table of NBA championships. But he's going to get fucking sent to the kids' table if he keeps acting like that. If I was like Kobe or something like that, I don't want to fucking talk to him if he's saying stupid shit like that. He's going to get on there and just talk dumb shit, you know?
He's already at the level where like the real champions won't want to...
Yeah.
Go with him. They'll have to be on that little side show on ESPN.
You're right. And Chauncey Billups, a champion who like way overachieved as a player who didn't have that much talent originally, is literally across the table from him going, "You're a fucking moron," the entire time. And Jalen Rose just loves it because it's so fucking funny. But yeah, Paul, man, get your shit together, man. You can do better than this. You know, you don't have to be this guy.
They're not gonna let him at that big boy table with Shaq, Charles Barkley, and
TNT.
Yeah.
Well, Charles never got a championship, but I would argue that Charles Barkley is viewed as a bigger legend than Paul Pierce.
He is.
Yeah.
I think so.
There you go, Paul. there's your answer. Charles had a better career than you, and he didn't win a championship.
He was in Space Jam, and he had multiple lines.
He had multiple lines. Yeah, he went to the therapist.
Yeah, Muggsy Bogues was in Space Jam.
He got blocked by those kids at the park. Remember that?
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, can I come play basketball in there?" Who? Basketball Jones. Slap. He's like, "Oh."
And it was a girl too, right?
Yeah, I do. I know. I think so. Yeah.
It was. I watched it recently.
You watched it recently?
Yeah.
Yeah. Charles Barkley, he's a goofy motherfucker too, but at least he has more fun with it. I think Paul Pierce is trying to be ESPN's Charles Barkley. But bitch, you ain't Kobe, and you ain't Charles Barkley.
I mean, I'm trying to. He's nobody.
And that's the truth. Anything else you want to say?
Fuck Paul Pierce.
All right. Well, if you hung out with us this whole episode, thank you so much. We will be back soon with a finals recap, I would assume, or maybe one more episode before the finals ends. Look up our social medias. I'm Brad Rickert. This is Matthew Patrick Torres. We do shows all over Chicago and the surrounding areas. Please say what's up, leave a comment, and tell us how pretty we are. We love you guys. Until next time, right? Anything you want to add?
Follow me on all my stuff, Matthew Patrick Torres. See you guys later.
Hey,